What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.
This is the OPS pregame report.
We are live from Spartan Arena at Homestead High School. Last night, the Homestead Spartans host the Concordia Cadets. Hello everyone, I'm Matt Saalfrank alongside Chris Kohrman and sideline reporter Anthony Gary, as we're about 20 minutes away from tip-off of tonight's matchup. And earlier this week, Homestead took on the Wayne Generals in a historic rivalry matchup. Although something unexpected happened in the first half as one of the rims got cracked, so the officials decided the game could not be played in the main gym. The second half had to be played in the auxiliary gym with no video or radio broadcast for the final two quarters. We think the rim got cracked on this dunk by Andrew Leeper. There's a shot of what the rim looked like when it was cracked, so the second half had to be played in the auxiliary gym, like I said, with no broadcast at all.
Crazy to think that that dunk happened early on in the second quarter, so they played the last 6-7 minutes with the rim like that, so no matter how that affects the team, could have affected them in a bad way, but that dunk definitely did a piece on the rim for sure.
Yeah, this certainly has to be one of the weirder things that has happened in a basketball game in recent seasons at Homestead.
Well, definitely. I haven't seen anything like that before. Haven't had a reason to have the game move from this gym to the auxiliary gym, at least the time I've been here at Homestead, so haven't seen anything like that before, and definitely rare in the future. Probably won't see it again.
So all the fans and teams had to fit in the much smaller auxiliary gym as the game still had to play out for two more quarters. In the end, Homestead got the 85-34 win over the Generals, doing so without Luke Goody playing.
Homestead did a great job sharing the basketball. Like you said, Luke Goody didn't play in that game, so you got to be able to share the basketball a little bit more, get the basketball, go around with the passes. They did a great job feeding down low as well to Leeper. They just showed him with the dunk there, but he had a good game. So Homestead does a great job of sharing the basketball, and they even improved on that without Luke Goody.
Now looking at some of the stats from that game, Chris, as Homestead just dominated in everything. The big one I see in my mind, 18 points off turnovers for Homestead, 0 for Wayne.
Yeah, 18 points off turnovers, and then you look at the turnover margin, 21-7 in Homestead's favor. That's something I've been saying all year, is if you can win that turnover battle by 8+, you're definitely setting yourself up for a victory. That's what Homestead did, getting in that turnover battle, down 14 in that. So Homestead did a great job, and then 18 points finishing off the turnovers. That's huge. You can create the turnovers, but then you got to finish off of them, and that's what Homestead was able to do.
Yeah, Homestead the major rebounding advantage as well as points in the paint. And with that win, Homestead set some school records in that game. They have their best start in school history at 20-0, their longest win streak in a single season of 20 games, and it's also their 7th 20-win regular season in school history.
Going into the season, having Fletcher Lawyer come in, the Kapowicki brothers come in, we could have guessed that this year was going to be a special year for Homestead. Not too sure if we thought it was going to be 20-0 right now, but we knew this year was going to be special. We knew there was going to be a lot of records broken this year, but don't know if we knew it was going to be this much. But this team has definitely shown, great talent this year. Fletcher Lawyer took him a couple games to adjust, but man, look at what he's doing now.
And with Fletcher Lawyer scoring 27 points on Tuesday, he moved into 8th in Homestead single-season scoring leaders in school history. Lawyer now has 482 points scored on the season, just 18 away from 500. Now let's take a look at all the players who have scored 500 points in a single season in school history. That's some pretty great names up there.
Caleb Swanigan in there twice, did it twice. Fletcher Lawyer close to 500, like I said, 18 points away. Got to assume he gets that with 2 games left, and Fletcher Lawyer be up to 500 and could even catch Taj Curry and maybe Jack Ferguson as well this year.
Yeah, Tracy Foster also on that list a couple times. as well. And with that win over Wayne, Homestead moved to 7-0 in the SAC. There are also a lot of good games from other SAC teams back on Tuesday night.
A lot of good games. Snyder had to take on Blackhawk. That was a close game. Snyder had that game tied throughout most of the game, and Blackhawk pulled away at the end, so Snyder's improving there. Got to see Carroll take on Northside, which was a 3-point game. A little surprising there, but Northside and Carroll, they do play similar, like to shoot the 3 ball, and that's definitely something that Carroll loves to do is, play outside a lot. And Northside did that too, so no surprise that was a good game, and Homestead undefeated and Carroll's undefeated, so you know what that sets up for.
Yeah, Homestead wins 85-34 over Wayne. Carroll wins 66-63 over Northside. Blackhawk 88-81 over Snyder after a huge third quarter after trailing by, I believe, 16 points at halftime. Northrop a nice win over this Concordia team that Homestead will face today, and Southside a 73-64 win over Bishop Luers. Those are some of the scores from this past Tuesday night. Now looking at some of the games of the SAC tonight, along with one non-SAC matchup, Chris.
Good matchups here. Cathedral at Blackhawk, that's definitely the game. If you're in the area, that's the game that stands out to you. Homestead took down Cathedral in overtime, so going to be exciting to see how Cathedral plays Blackhawk. And then, of course, eyes are going to be on Carroll Northrop. Homestead's got to play Carroll next week to decide the SAC as long as Carroll and Homestead win tonight, so that's definitely a game you got to look at is how Carroll plays Northrop.
I think that Dwenger at Northside game could also be very interesting, as Northside, even with that loss to Carroll, I would say they're probably the third best team in SAC, at least playing that way at this point, and Bishop Dwenger a solid team as well, so that could be a shootout potentially. So we have some good games tonight in the SAC, but the games tomorrow are also just as good. We have 3 Fort Wayne versus Indy matchups, along with a look at top private school Blackhawk versus top prep school Elevation Prep.
As Homestead, you're going to be looking at that Carmel-Carroll game. You see that in the regional potentially. Carmel-Carroll both going to be in that regional, so that's got to be a game that we got to look at and, just scout a little bit. That's what I'll do tomorrow, scout a little bit on that game, just see what both teams have. And then Elevation Prep, they have Michael Ely, the former Snyder basketball player, going against Blackhawk. That's going to be really exciting just to see how, prep schools have developed and see how a prep school does against one of the top area teams.
You also have Northrop against a Warren Central team that Homestead's already played one really in the last minute. Then Lawrence North at Snyder, that one could also be good. That will take us to our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll break down Homestead's opponent tonight, the Concordia Cadets. Stay tuned. You're watching High School Hoops on Homestead Live.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.
This is the OPS pregame report.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School as we get closer to tip-off between the Homestead Spartans and Concordia Cadets. This is our last Homestead Live broadcast of the season. We do not own the rights to any other games aside from which are played here at Homestead High School. We do radio broadcast every road game, but no video broadcast because we do not own the rights to games that are not played at Homestead High School. And Chris, earlier this week we saw Homestead take on their most played opponent in school history, the Wayne Generals. It was their 64th all-time matchup, but the Concordia Cadets are also one of Homestead's most played opponents in school history, with tonight being the 35th matchup between these programs. Homestead leads the all-time series 20-14.
Definitely a lot of experience with these two teams playing each other. That's the second straight time we've seen this graphic, and we've seen a 0, the senior class. They haven't lost to Wayne, and going into tonight, they haven't lost to Concordia either. So this Homestead senior class, not seeing a lot of losses in the SAC, so they're definitely doing a great job, senior class. Haven't lost yet, and like you said, just a lot of matchups and they're very familiar with each other.
And this Concordia team is 7-10 on the season and coming off a busy week so far. This is Concordia's third game in the last 5 days. On Monday, Concordia lost by 12 points to Angola, and on Tuesday they lost to Northrop by 8. And tonight they have a tough task as they take on a very good Homestead basketball team.
Definitely a very hard week for Concordia, playing Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. That's not easy. Northrop definitely not an easy team to just run away with, and Northrop found a way to win that game. They can shoot the ball pretty well, so not overly surprised that happened. But I know this Concordia team, they can shoot the basketball as well, so I'm sure that was a really good game.
Yeah, this Homestead game will be very difficult for them. When you look at that DeKalb game on the 16th, Wayne on the 19th, and Norwell on the 20th, I mean, those are all winnable games for this Concordia team as they could go into the postseason on a bit of a streak.
Well, after that, after this Homestead game tonight, you do have a couple easy opponents there, DeKalb, Wayne, and Norwell. Like you said, games that they do have a really good chance at winning. Very well could end the season on a 3-0 run, and if you can do that towards the end, that's just going to give you more momentum going into the postseason.
And this Concordia team is in Class 3A, one class lower than Homestead. With the sectional draw still over a week away, this cadet team will have a tough path if they want to win their sectional. It's clear that Leo is the favorite, but if the Lions do lose, Concordia could be one of those teams that could perhaps make a run if the ball bounces their way.
Saw Leo knock off Carroll last weekend, and that was a really close game. Came down to a buzzer beater there for Leo. Like I said, Leo has to be the favorite in this one, but we could see a lot of potential sectional or SAC matchups in this game. You'd see Concordia, Dwenger, Lures. So you could see a couple SAC matchups, and Dwenger, they can shoot the ball really well, so wouldn't be surprised if they're in the mix heading towards that sectional championship.
Then you also have an Angola team that just knocked off this Concordia team earlier this week, so that could be another potential sectional rematch. But I would agree with you, Chris. Leo has to be the heavy favorite in that sectional. Then a team also like Bishop Dwenger and Lures, even Concordia perhaps, could be teams that could make a run if Leo does lose, as their only loss on the season is to Northside. And before we take our final break, before tip-off, let's take a look at how these teams, Homestead and Concordia, compare in the numbers, as Homestead, not really surprised as they are number one in the state, to see them basically having the advantage in every one of those categories.
Free throws, 80%. That's definitely something Homestead has honed in on this year. Very confident in their ability to shoot free throws, do a great job at the line. Fletcher Lawyer, of course, one of the best in the state at free throws, so not surprised that that category is so high. In Homestead, shooting the ball pretty well, 50% field goal percentage, and like you said, Homestead a really great team, so no surprise that they are leading in these categories.
Yeah, Homestead's actually fifth in the state in both offensive average at 77.6 points per game, and fifth in the state in margin of victory at 23.4 points per game. And look at Concordia, I mean, 36% from three. That's pretty good for a high school team. Homestead's only 3% better at 39%, so this Concordia team can definitely shoot the three ball.
Something that they like to do a lot is shoot the three ball. Watched their game against Carroll, and they both went back and forth with the three ball, so Concordia definitely runs like that. And the defense average, Homestead giving up 54. From what I know, the only team that gives up less in the SAC, Carroll. Carroll averages 46 given up, so not surprised that Carroll's first in that category.
And Concordia lose by an average of 4.1 points per game. That's pretty close. So they're in basically all their games they play as Homestead unbeaten on the season. And it's clear that Homestead and Carroll are the two best SAC teams at this point in the season. But how Homestead has played in their conference matchups is amazing. Looking at some of those stats, they average over 90 points per game in SAC games. They win by an average of basically 37 points per SAC game.
Smallest win, 18 points against Snyder. Snyder's a really good team there, and Homestead beat him by 18 points. Listen, if you're in conference and your smallest win is 18 points, you gotta feel pretty good about what you've been doing in the conference this year.
Yeah, and that 51-point win against the Wayne Generals was without Luke Goody playing in that game, one of the best players in the state. So this Homestead team is certainly playing well right now.
Shows how deep this Homestead team is. If you can win by 51 points without your best player, you got to feel really good about that and know that your team is deep enough to get it done without one of the top two players on this team.
And we're about to get set for tip-off. Number one Homestead plays their final home game of the season. Next. tonight to Homestead High School as we are just a few minutes away from tip-off between Homestead and Concordia. Homestead's final home game of the season. And for those of you just joining us now that may have not known what happened on Tuesday, Chris, Homestead took on the Wayne Generals here at Homestead High School. Andrew Leeper attempted a dunk and cracked the rim. There was about, 6 or 7 minutes to go in the second quarter right here. And we're going to get a look at the cracked rim as the game had to be moved to the auxiliary gym. That's very dangerous. That's the cracked rim from Tuesday night. It's repaired right now, obviously, as we're going to play in the home gym. There's Andrew Leeper right there. I mean, we've talked about some of the best dunkers this school has seen. Caleb Swanigan and all the times that he just attacked the rim. And, I mean, Andrew Leeper, give credit to him, finally able to break the rim. I mean, I'm not sure if that's an accomplishment, but kind of impressive.
I know he took the rim home. The next day they gave the rim to him. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Took it home with him, so feel really good about that, able to take a rim home. I'm not too sure how many Homestead players have been able to do that, but Andrew Leeper can say he was one of the ones that did.
Yeah, so the second half was not able to be played in the gym, as at half they switched it from this gym to the auxiliary gym, which is just, I mean, not really far at all from this main gym, so it wasn't too big of a deal, aside from there not really being a broadcast, as a very shocking thing that we don't really have seen anything like that. So hope today the rims are strong and we can play two halves here in this gym.
Want to see two halves on here just for the broadcast purposes. Want to be able to get two halves in here, but that game Tuesday, Homestead just was able to open it up in the second half. Just blew out Wayne there in that second half.
So tip-off between Homestead and Concordia coming up soon, as Homestead, they're ranked number 1 in the state, only unbeaten team in the state right now at 20-0. They've had that feat for quite a while, being the only unbeaten team in the state, as this year a lot of 1 and 2 loss teams, but Homestead's the only one with 0 losses right now.
Homestead's had a great season so far. Had a tough game Saturday against Hamilton Southeastern, came down to the buzzer. Had a tough game against Lawrence North, and then very excited to see what happens next Friday against Carroll. That game most likely going to decide the SAC, and then could potentially see Carroll into regional, and then Carmel and Carroll, they play tomorrow. So that's going to be an interesting game to watch and do a little bit of scouting during that game.
Thanks to those of you joining us right now. We're going to take a quick break, but be right back after this tip-off between Homestead and Concordia coming up next.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.
Attempts. Goody. School record for 10. It's good!
Tonight, the Spartans welcome the Cadets into Spartan Arena. Now deep into the regular season, both teams are competing for spots in the conference. Homestead needs to win to continue their best start in school history and stay undefeated.
For the win, fade away. It's good! We'll get it!
Coming up, it's Concordia at Homestead.
Homestead going to come out here tonight and hopefully get a win. Playing a tough Concordia team. Concordia likes to shoot the basketball, and Homestead look to see the same lineup we've seen in the past couple weeks.
At guard tonight, a 6'4" junior number 2, Fletcher Lawyer.
Fletcher Lawyer starting for Homestead, along with Caleb Colpeen, Luke Goody, Andrew Leeper, and Grant Simmons. All the same starters here for Homestead tonight. Been the same starters throughout the whole season for Homestead, so not surprised that they're going to run with the same starters. Same starters that we've seen for the past 5 games, and Concordia going to have a tough time tonight. Homestead playing good basketball, coming off their biggest SAC win on Tuesday, and so Concordia definitely having a tough matchup tonight against Homestead.
Your officials this evening, Mr. Jared Adler, Mr. Steve Howe, and Mr. Sean Miller.
Seen Homestead run a lot of transition this year, and right there they do it again and get it down to Grant Simmons and draws the foul down low. Concordia having a tough time running with Homestead right now. And they've been trying to shoot a lot of threes, and they haven't made one yet, so look for Concordia to just keep trying at it.
Homestead an 8-6 lead. As we apologize for these technical difficulties, Matt Saalfrank alongside Chris Kohrman 5:08 to go in this first quarter. Homestead leads 8-6 over Concordia, as now it's tied at 8-8 with 5:02 to go in the first. Another steal, Concordia on the attack. No-look pass underneath, scoop and score by Joe Tapp. Gives Concordia the lead, 10-8. Goody, left corner three is in, and Homestead back on top. 11-10, 4:34 to go in the first quarter. Homestead leads by 1 point. It's 11-10, 4:21 to go in the first quarter. Cadets on offense. That's a deep three ball, air ball. It's going to go out of bounds, as that was missed by Luke Speckard, a 6'3" senior for Concordia. Into the lineup is David Speckard, as Hayworth on the bench. Simmons, three. That's no. Kolping tries to save it, and is going to Concordia. Tap. Lob now over to Almick. A three. Short. Rebound to Lawyer. 11-10 Homestead. 3:53 to go in the first. Leaper tries to do the same thing he did on Tuesday night. Hope the rim didn't break on that attempt. You think not, as they just replaced it. So Andrew Leaper to the line. It's 11-10 Homestead with 3:51 to go in the first quarter. That's good, as against HSC, Andrew Leaper had a nice dunk. But here at Homestead still needs to get that one. Last game of the season, so still plenty of time to try to get a dunk during his junior campaign. It's 13-10 Homestead, 3:47 to go in the first quarter. Concordia on offense. This Concordia team broke the school record for most threes in a game with 14 on January 29th against Northside. The team is on pace to break the school record for most threes in a single season. The record was set last year with 162 made threes, and this season the team enters tonight with 150 made threes. So this Concordia team loves to shoot it. They're at 36% beyond the arc, which is pretty solid. Davis, a three, the quarterback. Misses in. Homestead with the ball. They lead by 3 points. It's 13-10 with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the first quarter. Foul on Almick, his first and the team's third. It's 13-10 Homestead, 2:56 to go in the first quarter. Simmons, extra pass to Lawyer, pulls up and doesn't get the bounce. It's going to be a foul. It's great to see Luke Goody back in the lineup. He missed the first varsity game of his career on Tuesday in 94 career games played. Would have been his 95th had he suited up. Lawyer, right corner, three, bullseye! Fletcher Lawyer gives Homestead a 6-point lead now. It's 16-10, 2:42 to go in the first. Almick, Davis, Speckard, three is good. David Speckard, a 6'4" sophomore, off the bench. Brother of Luke Speckard. Homestead ball, 16-13, 2:14 in the first. Homestead leading by 3. Spartans, lots of chances. Seventeen, 13, 2:08 to go in the first. As Homestead in front by 4. Lawyer, free throw. That's good. Fletcher Lawyer, one of the more reliable free throw shooters, as he's at 93% on the season. Steal by Lawyer. Homestead other end. Lawyer Goody dunks it! Lou Goody, what a return! The senior's back after missing Tuesday against the Wayne Generals. Now with 5 points.
Lou Goody getting back into the action with a dunk right there. Good to see him back out on the court. Definitely a key piece to this Homestead team.
Tap. Drives in on Goody. Takes it back out now. Cam Johnson with the ball in his hands, number 21. One of the more experienced players on the roster. He was one of quarterback Brandon Davis's favorite targets this season at 469 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. Also had about 40 tackles and 2 picks on the defensive side.
Tough call there by the official. Thought Homestead was going to get the charge, but official calls it a block. Maybe Lawyer wasn't set there, but thought it had the opportunity to be a charge.
Nice dunk by Goody. As Concordia 5 team fouls, Homestead 1. Kolping and Leeper to the bench. Harmon and Caden Kopwicki into the game.
You see Coach Johnson use the same 2 players as first 2 into the game, and Caden Kopwicki and Quinn Harmon definitely stepped up this year.
Homestead is 20-0 on the season and ranked number 1 in the state. The Spartans are looking to be the first team since Bloomington South 23-0 last season to finish the regular season unbeaten. Of course, last season was canceled right after the sectional finals, so never know if Bloomington South would have been able to finish the entire season unbeaten. As this week, Homestead, they're ranked number 1 in the coaches' media poll. That's 2 separate. The coaches' poll, media poll, bounces, power poll, and Sagarin. Staying with Concordia as Lawyer couldn't save it right there. Homestead's ranked number 14 in the nation by Max Preps on their weekly poll that is released on Tuesday. So, Chris, this Homestead team is certainly one of the more dangerous teams, not just in Indiana, but I would say certainly in the Midwest and a top team in the country.
Anytime a team's got to go up against Homestead, definitely in the tournament, they're going to be looking at them, and they're going to have to do a lot of scouting to figure out how to beat this team, especially next Friday. Carroll's got to do a lot of scouting.
Brandon Davis, nice move to the basket as this Concordia team hanging with Homestead. 5-point game with 20 seconds to go in the first, as Homestead may be looking for the final shot right here.
Concordia doing a great job, making moves, getting down low, and making the easy layups, keeping up with Homestead here.
Homestead's 9-0 at home this season. As Spartans looking for the final shot, Goody has 5 points right now. Lawyer drives baseline. Nice move and scores at the buzzer. So after 1, Homestead leads 22-15 over Concordia. We'll be back.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
As Homestead, the senior class has a lot of guys that are used to playing with each other. 4 seniors that have played on the same middle school teams in 7th and 8th grade at Woodside Middle School. Luke Goody, Grant Simmons, Caleb Kolping, and Quinn Harmon were all on the same 8th grade basketball team. In the 2016-17 season, the Woodside Warriors went 19-2 that season after going 22-0 the previous year. As experience matters a ton, but certainly for this group at Homestead, these 4 seniors, as Caden Kopwicki moved into Homestead this past offseason, so really didn't grow up playing with these guys as Goody, Harmon, Kolping, and Simmons did. But certainly experience could play a big factor on how far Homestead goes in the postseason.
playing together for many years. Definitely get a lot of experience heading to this Homestead team.
Homestead, they're coached by Chris Johnson, who's in his 27th year of coaching and 22nd at Homestead. Before Johnson became the head coach at Homestead, he was a head coach at Bishop Dwenger for 5 years, from 1994 to 1999. And Concordia, they're led by Phil Brockman, who's 31 and 33 in his third year at the school. He's a 2004 graduate at Concordia. He's that 3-ball no good. Homestead the rebound. Concordia coach Phil Brockman played college basketball at Indiana Wesleyan University. He's a golf fan and was an assistant coach of 3 sports, basketball, baseball, and golf at Churubusco High School for 5 years before coming to Concordia in 2013. He was also an assistant coach at Concordia before becoming the head coach just a few seasons ago. Another foul.
Concordia looking to back cut there to the basket and get the easy layup, but Homestead jumps to it and gets a touchy foul called there.
Davis in for Concordia, Leaper in for Homestead. As Andrew Leaper has 6 points already, Chris, off to a great start.
Leaper getting down low for Homestead, and Homestead feeding the ball to him. He does a great job getting down low and getting the buckets.
Lawyer, the ball for Homestead. Open to Harmon, a 3. It's in! Quinn Harmon, a 3-ball. As Homestead hits their third 3-pointer of the game.
Sharing the basketball well, Homestead. They feed it to everyone. Harmon able to sink a 3 there for Homestead, so Homestead definitely is deep. We saw that Tuesday night against Wayne.
Speckhardt drives into the basket, scores. Luke Speckhardt, a 6'3" senior, averages 12.9 points per game, a 38% shooter from the field and 37% from 3. Had 12 points on Tuesday against Northrop. As Homestead a 10-point lead. Homestead quick passes. That 3 couldn't fall. Brandon Davis was the starting quarterback for the Concordia football team this past season. Threw for over 1,500 yards and 12 passing touchdowns. As timeout is called with Homestead leading 27-17, 5:40 to go in the second quarter.
Rethink your limits.
.540 to go in the second. It'll be Concordia ball out of that full timeout. Fletcher Lawyer leads Homestead with 9 points, and right now a couple players have 5 for Concordia, Brandon Davis and Luke Speckhardt. Concordia is coming off 2 losses earlier this week, a 12-point loss to Angola on Monday and a 8-point loss on Tuesday to Northrop. Leaper again having a great game. Andrew Leaper averages 7.5 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists per game, and 1.8 blocks per game on the season. Is a 62% field goal shooter and 65% at the line. His season high is 17 points at Snyder back on January 15th. And Tuesday, earlier this week, he had 7 points on 3 of 4 field goals. His only missed shot was a dunk attempt, which cracked the rim. He also had 8 rebounds in that game. That basket was scored by Almec. Goody, fadeaway short. Davis rebound for Concordia.
Almec for Concordia made a great move right there. Got around 2 Homestead defenders and got the easy lay-in. That was a really good move there.
Almec in the corner. This Concordia team has some very solid wins. As what a move right there by Almick, Sam Almick. He now has 6 points. Concordia has wins over Snyder and New Haven, 2 solid teams. Lawyer just gets pushed over by Davis, and he still makes a 3. Fletcher Lawyer now with 12 points. Oh, that was a close to being a wedgie right there. Stolen away. Speckhard lays it in. As Chris, got to be honest, this Concordia team is running with Homestead right now, only down by 9 points right now.
Concordia playing aggressive on defense, jumping to the basketball, forced a turnover right there, able to get down low.
Leaper with 10 points right now. He's playing great.
Concordia doesn't find a way to stop Leaper down low or any other Homestead player going down low. Oh, Concordia is going to run into some issues keeping up with Homestead.
Homestead is 5-0 against Concordia in the regular season since joining the SAC in the 2015-16 season. And with a win tonight against Concordia, Homestead will finish the season with a 10-0 home record, the first time the Spartans have gone undefeated since the state championship winning team back in the 2014-15 season. It'll be the 7th time Homestead has accomplished this feat in school history. Has a few subs now, Holping in, along with Simmons.
This Homestead team played a lot of tough road games, HSC, Lawrence North, Cathedral. So being undefeated still shows a lot about this Homestead team.
Fight for the rebound, finally controlled by Concordia. Ball in the hands of Brandon Davis. Almec spins on Lawyer. Throws up a shot, in and out. I say Leaper stepped out of bounds, so it'll be a turnover going to Concordia. As last season, Homestead beat Concordia 54-40 at the cage. And the last time these teams played here at Homestead in the 2018-19 season, Homestead won 53-33.
Love seeing games at the cage. Historic gym there at Concordia. You know, with the nickname The Cage, got to be really exciting anytime you can catch a game there.
Homestead is on a 7-game winning streak against Concordia. The last Concordia win over Homestead was on December 22nd, 2012. The Cadets won that game 55-48 playing at home. Lawyer, another 3. That one's a little off to the right. Goody offensive rebound. Takes a shot. That's short. Lawyer the putback.
Teams getting second chance efforts have killed Homestead this year, and now Homestead flipping the switch on that. Now they're the team that's getting the offensive rebounds and getting second, third chance efforts.
John Harrell picks Homestead to win 82-42 in tonight's matchup. Knocked out. Staying with Concordia. A few Concordia players ran the other end of the court thinking it was going to go to Homestead, but staying with Cadets.
Could have guaranteed a win off of Concordia there, but official says Concordia basketball.
At 3, no rebound Homestead. As Goody, wide open 3. Rebound to David Speckhard, 6'4" sophomore for Concordia. Leaper outlet pass, Simmons. Able to get it to go down as Grant Simmons now with 4 points. Fletcher Lawyer has 14 and Andrew Leaper has 10. Goody has 5. Knocked out by Lawyer.
This is the game that Andrew Leaper needed. Had a little bit of a cold streak going on, and then now he's up to 10 points in this game. So this could be a run where Leaper's going to take it in the postseason, especially next Friday against Carroll.
This Homestead team averages 77.6 points per game, good for 5th in the state. They win by an average of 22.4 points per game, also good for 5th in the state. The Spartans have 11 wins by 20 or more points this season, 7 wins by 30 or more points, and 3 wins by 40 or more points. So Homestead, aside from a handful of games this season, they're used to playing in a lot of blowouts.
Yeah, except for the times that they played the indie schools, those games have been closer, and even the Brownsburg, guess that's the only one exempt from that. Homestead did a blowout on Brownsburg, but other than that, it's been a lot of those indie schools that have been the result in the close games.
Yeah, that's kind of what you expect, as the indie talent is very high every year, as this Homestead team atop the SAC, but I would say the SAC in a bit of a down year, As Simmons at 3 is in as he falls down. There's been some years where the SAC feels like it can go, 4 or 5 teams deep. This year it feels like it's basically just Homestead and Carroll, at least at the elite level.
And to think last year it was Lures that was at top of the SAC, and Snyder was in that mix. So it's just really weird now that it's all flipped, and now it's just 2 teams at the top. Last year was Lures and Snyder.
Yeah, and even Carroll, they were up there as well last year. Homestead got 4th in the SAC last year. And this year, just basically Homestead and Carroll. I will say Northside is playing well as of right now, but overall the entire season, the Spartans and Chargers, top 2 in the conference. Is that layup scored by David Speckard?
I think when Homestead played Northside, and Northside was getting beat pretty bad, but I thought they were still shooting the ball really well. They had 3 guys, 10-plus points. So Northside definitely a team that can compete in the SAC.
Goody with a chance for and one, as I agree. Northside, they put up 61 points against a good Homestead defense. But unfortunately for them, they gave up 107 points. But still, they played well against Homestead, shot the ball well, but as Homestead was lights out that game. As Luke Goody at the line, 77% free throw shooter. Misses it, gets his own rebound, and dunks it! How about that? The missed free throw, then Goody throws it down. That rim is taking a beating in this first half, the replaced rim. As we've seen quite a few dunks and dunk attempts already.
I think Concordia thought Luke Goody had the guaranteed make there, and Luke Goody, of course, he knew it was off.
Lawyer pulls up for 3, misses. Homestead 20-point lead, Colpine saves it. Underneath the Leaper, there's a dunk for Andrew Leaper. Backboard shaking, Davis, a little off to the right, as Homestead takes a 47-25 lead into the break, as the Spartans played well to end the second quarter.
Coach.
And right now let's send it down to our sideline reporter Anthony Gary, who's with Homestead head coach Chris Johnson.
Should we get Lakes? Want to get the Lakes in there too? I have no idea.
Coach Johnson, Concordia came out in the first half with a very efficient offense. How are you able to hold them to only 25 points and stop their offensive run in the second quarter?
Well, they shot the ball extremely well in the first quarter. I thought defensively we were a lot better, a lot more active in the second quarter. So, hopefully we'll continue that for the next half.
Thank you, Coach. Matt, back to you.
Thanks, Anthony. As Homestead a 47-25 lead at the halftime break. A good first half for the Homestead Spartans, as we'll be right back after this.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19. And welcome back to Spartan Arena for the OPS halftime report. Ashton Ackman alongside Anthony Gary. And Anthony, Spartans lead at the half. Not a bad first half there.
No, Concordia came out with a very efficient offense, unexpected, but Homestead, they were able to hold them to just 25 points with a great defensive attitude in the second quarter.
Let's take a look at some first half stats there. Homestead not shooting too bad from the field, 55% as for Concordia, 42%. But the three-point field goals, that's where it's all at. 5 for 15 for Homestead, 3 for 13 for the Cadets.
Homestead, they didn't start off shooting the three-point ball well, but they got into it. Fletcher Lawyer got into the momentum. Homestead, they just overall got into the momentum, did a great job attacking the paint with Andrew Leeper as well.
And Anthony, with the win tonight, Homestead would then punch their ticket to the conference title game against Carroll next Friday.
And Ashton, there will be no easy task for the Spartans. Carroll will be going into this game 8-0 in SAC play, most likely tied with Homestead atop the SAC standings. And you cannot forget, this is a rivalry game, meaning anything can happen.
If Homestead were to defeat the Chargers in that game, they would finish the regular season with an unblemished record. You don't hear two teams do that too often, and the Spartans have had impressive wins this season over some talented teams, most notably the victory over then #1 Lawrence North a few weeks back, as well as wins over Indy Cathedral, Warren Central, North Central, Blackhawk Christian, and Hamilton Southeastern.
And that's just something that makes the Spartans so special, their ability to close out the big games and play until the buzzer. They were tied at 53 with Blackhawk Christian with 4:50 left to play before winning by 12. They beat Lawrence North in overtime, and most recently, they won at the buzzer against Hamilton Southeastern.
The Spartans are currently the only undefeated team remaining in the state at 20-0. The Spartans are ranked 14th in the country. If you're Coach Johnson heading into the postseason with a record like that, that gives you a little bit of confidence as you head into the postseason.
It for sure does, and something Coach Johnson has always done an outstanding job of is teaching his players to play till the final buzzer. This is a Homestead team that has had so many opportunities to lose, but here they are at 20-0.
And the road to the 4A state title is absolutely stacked this year. Taking a look at the Wayne sectional, they're taking a look there. The Spartans will compete with 5 other schools, 4 of which Homestead has already faced once this season and defeated. The real test will be in regionals, in which Carmel and Marion will feed into the Logansport regional. The Greyhounds are seen by many as the biggest threat in that field.
And they for sure are. Carmel has had a very similar playing style to Homestead all season. They're a shooting-based team like the Spartans, and although they are currently 19-2, their 2 losses have only been by 1 point to top-notch teams.
And that will take us to our first break here. Still ahead in the OPS halftime report. We'll preview tomorrow's regional game as well as take a look at some headlines in the SAC. Stay tuned. We're back with more.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19. And welcome back to Spartan Arena for the OPS halftime report. Spartans lead the Cadets 47-25. And Anthony, before the break, we previewed the postseason for the boys, and now we're going to take a look at the road to the state title on the girls' side. First up, they have to get through regionals first. The ladies will play Noblesville in the second game at noon, a team they already defeated once 55-47 back on November 21st.
Homestead, they'll be heading into this game after a very poor performance in the sectional final. All eyes will be on whether or not Homestead can fix the mistakes they made in that game.
And remember, tomorrow join broadcasters Braden Carroll and Noah Johanningsmeyer on the call for the girls regional against Noblesville. Tip-off set for 12 o'clock noon. If Homestead wins, they would play at the 8 o'clock on the same day against the winner of the Carroll-McCutcheon game. And
And that will bring us to our next break. When we return, we'll take a look at news in the SAC and get ready for third quarter action. Stay with us.
Rethink your limits.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School. It's a 47-25 lead for the Spartans as we're about to start this third quarter. As at the half, Cathedral leads Blackhawk 47-44. That's a close one. We also have Carroll leading Northrop 32-9. That one at halftime. And Snyder up 30-12 over Bishop Lubers in the second quarter. And Southside up 12-11 over Wayne. That one just in the first quarter. So some other area scores.
If you remember, Homestead played Northrop a couple weeks back, and I know Homestead was up in that game, but I don't think they were up as much as Carroll was. So Carroll playing really good basketball right now, and that's probably best for them because they got to take on a really tough Carmel team tomorrow.
And that Dwenger Northside game appears to just be starting right now, as Andrew Leeper up to 14 points, just 3 off of his season high of 17 points. So he's playing great. Three ball, no good. Simmons, a three. Rebound to tap for Concordia.
Both teams coming out slow in this half.
Goody with the ball for Homestead. Now look past to Simmons. What a shot by Grant Simmons. The 6'4" senior forward, whose season high is 32 points against North Central on January 2nd, had 18 points on 8 of 16 from the field and 7 of 10 from 2, along with 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks against Wayne this past Tuesday. Double dribble going to Homestead. Let's look at that shot by Simmons. Someone that's been shooting the ball a lot better as of recently, now up to 35% from 3.
These stat lines here. You got Leeper with 14, Simmons with 10. Both those players above 10 points. And in the postseason, Homestead's going to need those 2 players to step up if they want to make the run all the way to state.
Simmons can't hit that 3 ball again. Goody offensive rebound. Simmons ends up with it somehow and scores. Grant Simmons only averages 12.6 points per game on the season, along with 3.8 rebounds and 2.3 assists per game. Full timeout called by Concordia as Homestead a 54-25 lead over Concordia, 6:17 to go in the third.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
$6:17 to go in the third quarter. Homestead leads 54-25. Once again, at halftime, Cathedral leads Blackhawk by 3, 47-44. So that's a key score to keep an eye out on as the night goes on. It'll be Concordia ball out of that timeout. Homestead struggling from 3 this game, just shooting 33% at 6 of 18. But they're dominating. It was a close game the first half, but the Spartans have really opened up their lead. Leaper with 14 points. Goody to Simmons. Can't get the roll. Out of bounds. And staying with the Spartans.
Homestead even right now just playing a little slow right now. Both teams got to kick it up a notch here in this second half, and Homestead look to get going here, maybe a lawyer 3 to get this team going.
Goody lost it, but Simmons in the right place at the right time, but stolen away other end. Shot is good by Joe Tapp, who had 16 points Tuesday against Northrop. That shot off glass, good by Lawyer, or by Colpine rather. 56-27, a 3-ball again. Oh, that almost went in. Bounced off the top of the backboard and then rolled down. As yeah, it was Lawyer who was able to go off glass right there. As Homestead having a bit of fun right now. Playing well, shooting 16 of 22 from 2. Struggling from 3. But the putback underneath. Good by Simmons, now up to 14 points. Lawyer has 16. Leaper and Simmons each have 14, and Goody has 9. Tap, 3, way short. Lawyer underneath, scores, and 1. Fletcher Lawyer, the transfer from Clarkston High School in Michigan. Another look at the putback by Simmons. Fletcher Lawyer, the transfer from Clarkston High School, which is about 45 minutes northwest of Detroit. Last season as a sophomore, Lawyer averaged 21.8 points per game while shooting 48% from 3 on 60 made threes from the 3-point line. He's the younger brother of current Michigan State basketball player Foster Lawyer. And Fletcher Lawyer now at 500 points this season, which is just an incredible mark. Now with 19 on the game, and I believe at 501 total for the season. You don't see a lot of players reach 500 points in a single season. Lawyer just the 8th player, or 8th time in Homestead High School history that's done. Leaper, the 3-ball is in. Andrew Leaper ties his season high with 17 points. He's improving from deep.
If I'm any team in the Homestead section, I'm not too sure I'd want to see Homestead playing great basketball right now. Anytime they're sharing the basketball like they are tonight, it's going to be a tough team to beat because they can hit you with all sorts of different players, not just Lawyer and Goody.
Yeah, Homestead almost a 40-point lead, and Luke Goody only has 9 points as the Spartans just dominating. That shot is no good by Concordia. Hayworth couldn't knock it down. Goody to Lawyer, pulls up. It's in! Fletcher Lawyer now with 22 points, a 40-point lead for Homestead.
If Fletcher Lawyer gets hot, I think he just run the table there. If Lawyer gets hot, he wants the basketball even more. So teams are going to have to be able to defend that and keep him cold if they want to have a shot at knocking off this Homestead team.
This is Fletcher Lawyer's 16th game this season of scoring 20 or more points, and this is only the 21st game of the season. As nice move to the basket there. Some free throws coming for David Speckhardt. Now 7 points for David Speckhardt. Only averages 5.5 points per game. There it is, Fletcher Lawyer. Top 10 all-time season scoring leaders for Homestead. 500 and I guess now 4 points scored on the season. Goody, floater, short, gets his own miss. Again, that's short again. Rebound to Concordia. 67-30 lead for Homestead. Davis takes the open 3, in and out. As Fletcher Lawyer ties Taj Curry with 504 points scored in a single season. Another 3 for Lawyer, it's in again! Fletcher Lawyer now is above Jack Ferguson, as add 3 more points to that, so 507 points scored for Fletcher Lawyer on the season. It's passed quite a few people now, just in this game alone. 40-point lead for Homestead, make that a 38-point lead after that Grant Hayworth basket. The 6'6" sophomore forward. Foul on Davis, that's his third and the team's second. Another three ball, that's missed as Fletcher Lawyer is 4 of 9 from 3 this game. Stolen away, Lawyer, outlet pass Simmons, catches, puts it up and is fouled. Grant Simmons, the 6'4" senior forward, he was headed to Huntington University to play baseball. He's going to the free throw line. He has 14 10-plus point games heading into this game for the season. As Simmons heading into this game was 32 points away from 500 points scored in his career. Free throw missed by Simmons as Grant has 14 points tonight.
14 Joe Tapp back in Concordia.
Simmons misses both. Grant Simmons, a 78% free throw shooter. One of the seniors on this Homestead roster. Misses both right there as Homestead dominating this game. Out of bounds going to Homestead. 1:59 to go in the third.
Free throw is definitely something that you got to be able to hit in postseason. A lot of games are going to be close, especially in that regional. Could come down to free throws. Got to be able to hit those.
Concordia headed the other direction. Three ball. Almick, yes. Sam Almick, a 5'10" senior guard for Concordia, who's the team's third leading scorer, knocks down that three-pointer. Lawyer, another three ball. It's good again. Heat check for Lawyer. That's his 5th three of the game. School record is 10 by Luke Goody, which was set earlier this season. He's going to need to double his amount if he wants to tie that record. Is that nice pull-up move by Tapp? As offense starting to pick up a bit.
Even with Concordia down by as much as they are, they're not slowing down, and they're going to keep continuing to try and hit these shots that they're taking.
Goody, tough shot and scores. Now with 11 points, Luke Goody, a 6'7" senior forward, missed the first varsity game of his career on Tuesday. This is his 95th career game played at the varsity level. He signed to play basketball at Illinois. Goody also had offers from Illinois, Marquette, Michigan State, Louisville, Northwestern, Stanford, Xavier, Maryland, Butler, Iowa, and IUPUI. He's a 4-star recruit in the current senior class. He's currently ranked 94th overall in the nation, and that's why another three by Luke Goody, his second of the game. Goody broke the school record with 10 made threes in a single game against Northside back on January 22nd. He was 10 of 16 from 3. He reached 1,000 career points scored in the first game of the season against Huntington North. 5 seconds to go. His third, Almick to Tapp, throws it up, no good at the end of 3. Homestead leading 78-39 as they enter their final quarter here at Homestead High School for the season. Of the fourth quarter as Homestead is leading 78-39 over Concordia. Homestead out in this fourth quarter already with a lot of their bench players, none of the starters out there, as maybe you have to wonder if Coach Johnson doesn't want to take a risk of having his players out there for this final quarter. Or we'll see if he brings his starters back in. It's already a big lead for Homestead. No need for them to come back into the game as Harmon, Kyron Kopwicki, Caden Kopwicki, Luke Markham, and Grady Swing out on the court for Homestead.
Something very unique about this Homestead team is these bench players have been able to get heavy minutes this year. They've been able to come out with, right here at the start of the fourth, and they've been able to get a lot of minutes in.
And we talked about that group of 4 seniors for Homestead playing together since 7th grade. There's a group of 4 juniors that have played together since 7th grade as well, back at Woodside High School, or Woodside Middle School, rather. You have Markham, Ezecudo, Swing, along with Max Schultz. So that group of 4 has a lot of experience. So next year, the senior class for Homestead, you also add in Leaper and Fletcher Lawyer. That'll be a crazy senior class next year, Chris, but still a lot on the line this season for Homestead.
A lot of unfinished business, I think, going into this year, going into the postseason. I think everyone's got Homestead as the state favorites this year. Will be interesting to see how far this Homestead team can get, and I think they got a lot of unfinished business after how last season went.
Big lead for Homestead. Swing, in and out. No points scored yet here in the fourth.
Something that everyone here in Indiana lives for, postseason basketball.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate last season. Had to be canceled, obviously, after the sectional round. 6:47 to go in the fourth quarter. As we got a shot up of what it looks like back up here in the booth. Final quarter of the season for the Homestead boys. At Homestead, Kyron Kopwicki, too strong. Other end for Concordia. Throws up a shot. That was no good by Almick. Going to Homestead. 6:20 to go in the fourth. 6:17 to go in the fourth, as a lot of the bench players in for Homestead. Luke Goody finishes with 14, Lawyer 28, Simmons had 17, and Leaper with 14. Homestead, a rough shooting night from 3, 11 of 30 by their standards. Very efficient from 2, 19 of 27, and 7 of 10 from the free throw line this game.
7 of 10 from the free throw line. Homestead shooting 70% from the free throw line. Of course, with postseason basketball coming up, you want that stat looking really good, especially against a team like Carmel in the regional that could potentially come down to, last minute or so in that game.
Homestead has one more game left in the regular season. Hard to believe that after today, as the postseason doesn't start till the first week of March. But with that game against Norwell being taken off the schedule, Homestead now has potentially 2 weeks if they get a bye in the first round, that they don't have to play a game from the last regular season game to the first postseason game. They play Carroll next week. Then they would either not play that next week. They'd either play on the Tuesday or the Friday of that week. It'd be March either 2nd or 5th they would play their first game of the postseason. Carroll game on the 19th, 1 week from today.
That's the big game for Homestead. One final game. Carroll's rolling right now on Northrop. That's not even a close game right now. Carroll rolling, playing really good basketball. So 2 teams playing really good basketball. Difference is Carroll's got to go through Carmel tomorrow.
Hayworth and Rusher in the game for Concordia now. 80-39. 5:10 to go in the fourth. Other end, Caden Kopwicki is fouled on the way up. Homestead, their fewest points scored in the SAC game this season is 81 against Dwenger. Caden Kopwicki can change that. So that's tied now. So Homestead just needs one more point, and they will have more than their fewest points scored in an SAC game, 81 points. No team in the state averages that, I don't think. Maybe Blackhawk. As Homestead 82 points scored. That means in every SAC game to this point, obviously they still play Carroll next week, but to this point, through 8 SAC games, they've scored at least 81 points in all of those games.
And it's going to be really interesting, scoring 82 points. Carroll in the SAC, they give up the least amount of points. They're averaging, I think, 46 given up per game, so it's going to be interesting to see how Homestead does against a team that definitely hones in on the defense and does very well at it.
And Carroll, one of the better defenses in the SAC and certainly in the area, as that'll be a tough task for Homestead. And we all remember what happened 2 years ago when Homestead played there. Zach Kruger hit that late jump shot. As Homestead also got some help from Dwanger as they were able to beat Northrop. So Homestead, Carroll, and Northrop all tied the conference at 7-2 that season. Not going to be the case this year, as even if Carroll would lose, and we'll check on a score update, as I don't see them losing against Northrop tonight, it'll still be a winner-take-all game, as Carroll's up 44-19 over Northrop in the third. So Homestead versus Carroll, as Kyron Kopwicki, that's his luckiest brother was right there at the right time. Otherwise, that could have been a turnover underneath the basket. Harmon now with 5 points.
Homestead out there just having some fun. You know, up by a lot. You just want to have some fun and get this last 3 minutes over with and get prepped for Carroll.
And Cathedral starting to pull away from Blackhawk. They now lead 64-52. That one about midway through the third quarter, as Cathedral lost a tough one to Gary West earlier this past week. I guess last week. 3-ball, Caden Kopwicki. That's no good. Stolen away by Harmon. Ball on the ground, and Concordia somehow comes away with it. Approaching 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. As since joining the SAC in the 2015-16 season, Homestead is 43-9 in SAC regular season games, 83% winning percentage. As Caden Kopwicki, no, Grady swing, yes. This Homestead team averages about 37 points per game per win in the SAC this season. So that 3-ball nearly dropped by Speckard, but the putback will be good by Grant Hayworth, a 6'6" sophomore.
Cathedral on Blackhawk. Cathedral's just hitting every 3 they take. They're up by double digits now against Blackhawk. Crazy to think that Homestead beat Cathedral in overtime and beat Blackhawk by 12, so I guess it's not really that surprising, but I thought Blackhawk definitely give Cathedral a better run, but it is only the third quarter.
Shilson, Ezecudo now in the game for Harmon and Caden Kopwicki. So out in the court right now for Homestead, you can expect these 5 guys to have a major role in next year, with Homestead graduating 5 seniors, with Goody, Simmons, and Colpine in the starting lineup. 3 of those seniors. And then Harmon and Caden Kopwicki, 2 important seniors that are come off the bench. 2 of the top bench players for Homestead.
Just got to think of what, Caden Kopwicki brings to this team. Playing aggressive down low, jumping to the rebounds. Homestead always up in the rebound category. A lot of that has to do with some of the bench players coming in and plays really good defense. Showed that just a little bit ago, aggressive defense.
Homestead a big lead over Concordia. For just joining us, it was pretty close in the first quarter and for most of the second quarter, but then Homestead started to pull away, as it seems they usually do against SAC teams. That's turnover there. Schultz couldn't hang on to it. 1:49 to go in the fourth, 86-42. Homestead will have a week off until they take on Carroll, who's leading 48-20 with about 30 seconds left in the third quarter over Northrop. Although Northrop not quite the level they have been the past few years. Still a solid team. .90 seconds to go here in the fourth. Grady swing the 3. Rebound to Concordia. So Homestead with this win, don't play again until next Friday, will remain atop all the polls. AP, which is a 4A poll, Also the coach's pull. Along with Bounce's power pull. Sagarin as well, you would think. We'll have to see what Carmel's doing against HSC today, as that was a good game when Homestead took on HSC.
Came down to the wire there. Was that game against HSC. Looks like Carmel 43, HSC 25 into 3 quarters.
So Carmel playing well. 1:05 to go in the 4th. It's an 86-44 lead for the Homestead Spartans as we close the final minute of Homestead Live broadcast this season. Once again, we only have the rights to home games, so if you watch all of our games, as Schultz, Coach Johnson probably not too happy with that 3 right there. As all the games are played on the same court, which is at Homestead High School, we do not have the rights to road games, or I guess neutral site games as well. Ezecudo, Schultz, why not? Another 3, no good. Another offensive rebound for Homestead, 86-44. Ezecudo, a 3, oh! And it's going the other way as Homestead, that was their 40th 3-point attempt of this game. They've made 11 of them.
Just a fun little stint there by the Homestead bench, shooting a couple threes there, but weren't able to hit any of them. Like I said, 11 of 40 from 3. That's a wow stat right there.
We'll see if Concordia goes for a shot. As stolen away as Ezecudo. To the basket, is blocked. Ezecudo gets it again, hesitates, goes up with it, and scores. 88-44. 3-pointer, buzzer beater. Oh, that was almost a wedgie to close as Homestead wins by 44 points over the Concordia Cadets. A great game for the Homestead Spartans. Really a great win. As right now, let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Anthony Gary, who's with Luke Goody.
Thank you, Matt. Big win today to keep an undefeated season going. We know you missed Tuesday resting a sore ankle. How does it feel getting back out there tonight?
It feels good to come back from a little ankle injury from the HSC game. I realized that it was my best decision and the best decision for the team to not play against Wayne. But I practiced yesterday and I felt good, so I decided to come out and play today.
Final time tonight playing here at Spartan Arena. We know this isn't the same without fans, but can you reflect a little bit on your season and all your years playing at Homestead?
Yeah, it's such an amazing program. It's such an amazing school. All the people of the community as well. It's just such a great group of people. And to play my 4 years on this court has been an honor and a blessing, and I couldn't have imagined it any other way.
20-0 on the season now, Luke. We know who's left on the schedule next week, but have you thought at all about an undefeated regular season and what that would mean to you?
Yeah, it's definitely a thought in our minds. We got Carroll left, which is one of the better teams in the conference. So we got to come out and play hard and try and beat them, because if we go undefeated, that'll give us momentum into the playoffs that we need to make a run.
Let's talk about that final game next week. By all indications, it will be the SAC Championship, Homestead Carroll. Luke, does it get any better than that for a season finale?
It does not. No, to go into the game 21-0 against your conference rivals for the tournament titles or the conference title, it doesn't get any better than that.
All right, thank you, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Matt, back to you.
Thanks, Anthony. As that was Luke Goody with Anthony Gary. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with the rest of the post-game show after this on Homestead Live.
Rethink your limits.
Concordia. 88-44.
Homestead with a big win tonight. Came out against Concordia and played a great game there. Homestead a little slow there in the first half. Concordia was able to keep up with them, and then Homestead just ran the table there in that second half.
So the Spartans are able to get the big win, 88-44. Not really surprised, as Homestead the huge favorite. And tonight is the final Homestead Live broadcast this season. All of our past Homestead Live broadcasts are on demand for free. Some of the classics from this season, at least for boys basketball, include Homestead versus Blackhawk. As right now, they're ranked the top 2 teams in the state. That could change, though, as Cathedral up on Blackhawk. And Homestead versus Northside, also a classic game. Senior night, where Luke Goody goes for career-high 41 points, a school record with 10 made threes. You also have Homestead breaking 100 points. Homestead versus North Central, another classic game. Grant Simmons, career-high 32 points. And Homestead versus Southside, Fletcher Lawyer and Luke Goody combined for 56 points. Then also this game, final game of the season, Lawyer has 28 points. And Goody, Leaper, and Simmons all put up double digits. Just a great performance all around for Homestead today.
Homestead, great performance. Like I said, a little bit slow there in the first half. Concordia was running with them. And then the second half, Homestead was just able to open that game up, hit some big shots there. Lawyer finishes with 28 points, leading the way for this Homestead team. This Homestead team going against Carroll next Friday. That's definitely the game to get up for.
Some of the best football broadcasts this season include the Homestead 3-overtime win against Dwenger, the huge performance against Carroll, a lot of records broken. Also the sectional win over Warsaw football. And some of the best girls games include the Spartans against North Central, #1 ranked team in the state. And you also have the Ayanna Patterson breaking the single game scoring record at Homestead with 43 points. And then, of course, all the boys basketball games on demand for free. Go back and watch them just on the Homestead Media YouTube channel. So, Chris, it's been a great opportunity we've had this season to broadcast these games. I know we still have quite a bit of season to go as the regular season ends. And then for this Homestead team, expect them to make a deep run in the postseason. But here, broadcasting games at Homestead, this is the last one of the season.
It's been an honor. Like you said, Matt, this year, last one. A little bit sad, a little bit emotional about that. But
yeah, I'm crying.
Yeah, been an honor to be your color commentator this season. Been a fun one, caught a lot of fun games, and going to finish it off here with the big win for Homestead. And like I said, still got a lot more radio broadcasts, hoping getting all the way to Banker's Life this year. Yeah, thanks to everyone who helped out tonight. Ashton Hackman, Trevor Newhouse, Joel McChesney, Andre Sentlever, Caleb Wood, Tyler Veit, Nisha Lalria, Noah Johanningsmeyer, and Noah Lance. Those two were on the radio call. You also have Ryan Locke on stats, and of course Anthony Gary sideline. I'm at Saalfrank along with Chris Kohrman, as a lot of smiles on the court right now for Homestead players, as they know final game here at Homestead. A bit emotional for them as well as some of these seniors like Luke Goody, one of the all-time greats at Homestead High School. Definitely one of the all-time greats. Luke Goody, broke the three-point shooting record this year. A lot of records being broken. At least 5 seniors definitely going to be remembered, for what they've done throughout these past 4 years at Homestead. If you want to join another basketball broadcast tomorrow, listen to Braden Carroll and Noah Johanningsmeyer at 12 o'clock as they take on the Noblesville Millers in a rematch from earlier on in the season where Homestead won. But that's a regional semifinal matchup. Should they win, Homestead will move on to a regional final against either Carroll or McCutcheon, but most likely Carroll based on how dominant they've been this season, setting up a rematch from quite a while ago. Any final comments from you, Chris, as we close this post-game show? Been a really fun season, seen a lot of great games here. Finish it off with a big win against Concordia. And like I just said, a lot more radio broadcasts to happen. Hoping we're getting all the way to Banker's Life this year. Again, any of those games that we mentioned before are available to watch for free. Just look through our YouTube channel. You can watch the entire broadcast, talking about pre-game, the entire game, halftime, second half, post-game, all that stuff you can watch. Thanks to our sponsors, OPS and Lutheran Health Network, who make these Homestead Live broadcasts possible. Thanks to everyone who has joined us this season, as the next Homestead Live broadcast will be on August 27th, when Concordia looks to get revenge for their 7-0 loss at Zollner Stadium this season. That one quite a ways away in football. Once again, thanks for joining us this season. I'm Matt Saalfrank, along with the entire Homestead Live crew. We'll see you next season.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.